I had been single for a while after my divorce. Life felt quiet and still. At 50, I had grown used to my solitude, appreciating my own company. My days were a routine of work and self-care. Evenings were spent with a good book or a favorite TV show. My neighborhood was peaceful, filled with distant chatter and the occasional bark of a dog. I kept to myself, enjoying the stillness of my world. One warm afternoon, I decided to take a walk around the block. The sun's warmth kissed my skin as a gentle breeze played with my hair. Children's laughter echoed from nearby yards. As I walked, I noticed someone new had moved in a few houses down. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with deep brown skin glowing under the sun. He carried a box with ease, his movement steady. I glanced his way, trying not to stare. He caught my gaze and smiled. I returned it before quickly looking away, my heart unexpectedly fluttering. Over the next few days, I saw him often. He was usually outside, working on his yard or chatting with neighbors. Each time our eyes met, he'd give me a nod or a wave. His presence had a certain gravity, and I'd catch myself hoping to see him each day. One evening, as I returned from work, I noticed him sitting on his porch, sipping on a cold drink. He seemed at ease, so present in the moment. I hesitated but found myself walking toward him, heart pounding. "Hi, I'm Eva," I said, offering a small wave. "I've seen you around and thought I'd say hello." "Hey, I'm James," he replied, setting his drink down and standing to greet me. "Nice to meet you, Eva. Just moved in a week ago." "Welcome to the neighborhood," I said. "It's a quiet place, but I'm sure you'll like it here." We talked for a while. I learned that James was an architect who'd moved for a new job. He asked about the area, and I recommended local cafes and parks. Our conversation flowed easily, filled with smiles and laughter. As I walked home, I couldn't help but smile, feeling a warmth that lingered long after. Days passed, and our interactions became more frequent. Sometimes, I'd time my walks to coincide with his yard work. He'd smile, wave, and we'd exchange a few words. One afternoon, he invited me to a barbecue he was hosting that weekend. I accepted, hiding my excitement. The day of the barbecue, I chose a comfortable but flattering dress. When I arrived, the smell of grilled meat filled the air. James greeted me with a warm hug, his strong arms momentarily pulling me in. My heart skipped a beat. He introduced me to his friends, all friendly and welcoming. We ate, laughed, and shared stories. I'd forgotten how much I missed being surrounded by people. As the evening went on, I found myself drawn to James more than ever. His laughter was infectious, and every glance he cast my way sent a warm rush through me. Later that night, as the party wound down, James asked if I'd like to take a walk with him. I agreed, feeling a mixture of excitement and nerves. The streets were quiet, bathed in the glow of streetlights. We talked about our lives, pasts, and dreams. At a small park, we stopped by a bench under the moonlight. The air was filled with a stillness that felt magical. "Eva," he said softly, "can I kiss you?" His words hung in the air. I nodded slowly, my heart racing as he leaned in. Our lips met, and the world melted away. It was gentle at first, but it quickly grew deeper, more certain. I hadn't felt anything like it in years. It awakened something inside me that I'd long forgotten. The days that followed were a blur of happiness. We spent more time together, walking, talking, and sharing meals. One evening, as we sat on his porch, he reached for my hand, intertwining his fingers with mine. "I'm happy when I'm with you, Eva," he said. "I'm not sure what this is, but I know it's something special." "I feel it too," I replied, warmth spreading through me. Weeks later, he invited me to a weekend getaway at a cabin in the woods. It felt thrilling. The cabin was nestled among towering trees, with only the sounds of birds and rustling leaves around us. We spent our days hiking, cooking, and talking by the fire. At night, under a blanket of stars, he held me close. "This feels like our own little world," he said. "It does," I replied, resting my head on his shoulder. On our last night, as we sat under the stars, he turned to me with a serious look. "Eva," he began, "I've been thinking a lot about us. Do you ever think about getting married again?" I'd seen it coming, but it still caught me off guard. I took a deep breath. "James, you're an incredible man," I said, "but I've walked that road before. It's not a path I'm eager to walk again." His face fell slightly, but he nodded, eyes filled with understanding. "I get it," he said. "I just wanted to know where you stood." I reached for his hand and squeezed it. "I'm still here with you, James. That's what matters most." His smile returned, small but genuine. We sat in silence, gazing at the stars. It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was real. We had found something rare, a connection that didn't need labels or grand promises to be meaningful. It was enough. And in that moment, I knew I'd found something special. A few weeks later, James surprised me with tickets to an art exhibit downtown. It was one of his favorite artists, and he wanted me to see it with him. We wandered through the gallery, stopping to admire the vivid colors and intricate details. He shared his thoughts on each piece, his passion evident in every word. I loved seeing the side of him, the way his eyes lit up when he talked about art. As we walked out of the gallery, he took my hand. "I'm glad we did this together," he said with a grin. "Me too," I replied, squeezing his hand. It felt like we were painting our own story, one brushstroke at a time.